You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
Rollin.
We're rolling into the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast, and we're gonna keep rolling into the next reign of the fucking Undertaker. Wait, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to Limp Bizkit Cast. I'm your host, Ransom,
Because I know y'all be loving this shit right here.
the Kragan. Ransom the Kragan here this week. Hopefully next week it'll be back to my normal self, and there won't be any more Ransom the Kragan. But today, Ransom the Kragan. I'm also joined by Poot the Bard and the Fred Durst of the podcast himself, Beef the Legend, who is currently a very teetering cruiserweight champion. Although
Oh, good, man.
the last event that decides the cruiserweight championship is WrestleMania. And if there's one thing that I've learned about Beef, no matter how low he is on that scoreboard, don't count him out on WrestleMania picks, because the boy will make up a lot of ground, even when you think, nah, man, I got this in the bag. Are you listening to this, Pat? You think, I got it in the bag. I'm too far ahead. Don't fuck around with Beef when it comes to Mania, because he'll ruin your day.
So you're saying there's a chance.
So now there's a liquor store involved.
I
Huh?
am not 100% confident, but you know what? Like, I've had a great reign. I've had two pretty great reigns with a small interruption. So like, if I lose, so be it. Just know the title is always and forever around my waist. I will come back for it. Anyway, yeah, let's talk some shop here. Let's talk some WrestleMania. So, Ransom, what's something in your mind that goes along with WrestleMania, WWE wise?
Some sort of celebrity bullshit match.
Okay, so what goes along with WrestleMania weekend? In your mind?
NXT
And
Hall of Fame.
the Hall of Fame, exactly. Guess what we don't have any announcements on this year?
NXT.
Nope,
The Hall of Fame.
you got it.
There's nothing.
Nothing.
Really?
Nothing. So
Wow.
allegedly,
Ooh.
Batista was supposed to be the headliner. He may still be. If there's a Hall of Fame, I don't know.
Why wouldn't there be? Like, what?
I don't know, man. Like, we're 3 weeks out. They have, looking at my calendar, 1, 2, 3 more Raws and 1, 2, 3, 4 more SmackDowns before the big show. We know that typically Hall of Fames are 6 to 7 people, and they usually are announced leading up to WrestleMania, and we have had none of that. According, I think Dave Meltzer said that they were still reaching out to people to be part of the Hall of Fame. So, like, apparently it's still going to be a thing. It's still on the slate for, like, WrestleMania weekend. It just feels like somebody's like, oh yeah, right, the Hall of Fame. How did we forget about that?
Oh.
I don't know, man. Like, and then I heard that because it's in the news because Mick Foley said that someone reached out to him if they would induct them into the Hall of Fame, and everyone's like, who? Al Snow? Har har har. And like a prevailing opinion is probably Melina, because Mick Foley was kind of sort of a for a better word, a coach for her.
Like a mentor.
Yeah, a mentor. Thank you for her. So the thought of like Melina and Batista going in on the same Hall of Fame class has a lot of people snickering too. Because
I missed that. What was there allegedly an affair there?
Yep. So, allegedly Batista cheated on his wife or what have you with Melina in their days in SmackDown, and that's why he went to Raw and she stayed on SmackDown. And then, like, when they swapped, they would both like swap at the same time just to kind of avoid that situation. But yeah,
Oh, I see.
allegedly the Leviathan was a big fan of Melina Perez, and it showed.
Oh, who's not?
I mean, I as a married man, I certainly would not, but if I weren't betrothed, absolutely, absolutely. She was always like one of my favorites. So like I don't begrudge him as a man, but like as a husband, yeah, he's a slime ball and a sleazeball and whatever else, but
Oh,
it's okay. He makes millions of money being a guardian of the galaxy, so everybody forgets about it. Um, but that being said, it's just super fucking weird that like the Hall of Fame, which again has to me has gone hand in hand with WrestleMania for I don't know the last 15, 20 years. There's nothing about it this year, and I'm wondering if they reschedule it. I know they tried to do that the COVID year. They were going to do it at SummerSlam, and then everyone was like, "Oh, well, we didn't beat COVID in 6 months, so I guess we'll just do it next year." And they basically put off the 2020 class, and combined it with the 2021 class. Um, but like, there's no reason why they shouldn't have this on lock by now, right?
I mean, yeah, it seems a little weird that we're this late in the game and there's no talk of Hall of Fame. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Even if they were waiting, though, like they've got what, like you said, what 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 Raws and 4 SmackDowns, including tomorrow night.
So would they be announcing multiples a night?
So my thought is maybe they just forewent are foregoing the like week by week announcements.
Maybe they're
To
just going to announce everybody all at once.
Right, exactly. On one night, be like, in the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2023, blah, 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 which is weird, but I mean, Triple H has shown that he has his own way of doing things, and it's not always the most traditional way. So maybe this is, and I mean, maybe they are legit, hitting the bottom of the barrel.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, excuse me. Outside of Batista, like, who else can you think that really had a Hall of Fame career that could be like a big time headliner that they don't have yet?
Well, that's a good point.
I mean,
Unless they're going to start.
Chris Jericho, but I don't think I don't think TK would let him appear, and I don't think he would want to cross TK at this point.
You don't think Tony Khan would let him?
I don't.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's weird, that whole thing, but I just don't think that unless WWE would give them something, in which Triple H would be like, "Oh, Nick Khan, whatever," be like, "No, fuck you. Like, this is what we'd be giving you as airtime for one of your superstars." Which again is fair. That's all. Like, both sides are right, as stupid as that sounds. But like, other than Batista, like, who else you gonna have the headline? Mick Foley's already in. Triple H, The Rock, They're already in. Austin's already in. Like, it's just, and like guys from the '80s, they're pretty much out of like big names from the '80s too. Like, I don't know what else, I don't know what it would entail.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if they didn't think this out too well whenever they started it. Like, hey, we're gonna have a finite amount of people that we're gonna be able to put in here. Like, if we induct 12 to 15 people a year, we're gonna run out of people.
Well, and in typical Vince McMahon fashion, it was probably like, well, we're always gonna have stars, and like, not thinking, hey, those stars could be elsewhere, and if they are, fuck them, we don't need them because we have other stars. Well, yeah, but because even Edge is in the Hall of Fame already, so like,
Yeah.
there literally not a lot of places to turn. And again, a few active wrestlers I think could fit the bill. I don't think would at this point. That being Jericho, Bryan Danielson, and CM Punk. I don't think. Yeah,
Oof.
I think all of them are deserving, but I don't think any of them would take that up. So, like, even if you get Batista this year, like, what does next year look like?
Yeah, right.
It's.
I mean, you
And I
always have
mean,
Cena, but like, again,
sure,
that's one dude.
right. And the other thing is that like the Hall of Fame induction, unless your name is Ric Flair, is kind of like it. Like once you're inducted in the Hall of Fame, you're pretty much done as an active wrestler. And even Ric Flair, to his credit,
Except for Edge.
you yeah, that's true. He is one that is absolutely still. But I mean, that was a weird situation to where like nobody thought he'd be back for a long time, and now here he is.
Yeah.
Well, no one ever thought he'd be back, period, and now here he is. So I get it. Like, he wants to burn the candle that he missed out on burning. But that situation aside, like again, like once even Taker, like once he hit the Hall of Fame, like that was that. He dropped kayfabe. He started talking as Mark Calloway. He started doing all kinds of not weird, like interviews as Mark and not the Undertaker. Just like it's seemingly the end of it. So like yes, you absolutely could put Cena in, and yes, he's absolutely deserving. Probably more so than I think anybody else, honestly. But what then? Like,
Yeah, you are. I mean, you're running out of names.
and like to put that kind of a pin in Cena's career. I mean, I'm sure he'd be fine with it, honestly. But like, I don't think that they want to do that just yet.
But I
Just
mean,
a
let's be
weird.
honest though. Like with him, he's not going to be back for another run. Not unless it's like the last run.
Man, never say never, man.
I just
Wrestling
don't
is
see it with him anymore. Like I think he's happy doing other stuff.
he absolutely is, with good reason. And
Sure,
like
he'll come back and do like a WrestleMania or something here and there. But
I love when he like backtracked on what he said about The Rock, because he talked about how The Rock turned his back on WWE, moved to Hollywood, and like that was that. And like since then, obviously, no, we know what's become of John Cena. Like he pretty much did the same thing, except for more not financially successful, but I think he's in better stuff. So, um, regardless, that point is moot, I suppose. Cena kind of backtracked on his comments about The Rock. He's like, no, I get it, man. So like that's funny to me. But yeah, I mean, weird. It's an odd time, and
maybe they
um,
just don't do a Hall of Fame this year.
it's a possibility. Still, like I don't know, man. I feel like all this stuff being drudged, because like I literally thought about this the other day, and I'm like, wait, there have been 0 Hall of Fame announcements so far, and I googled it, and like there are stories of like 2 days ago talking about this. So like it's coming up a little bit recently, and it seems like the intention is that yeah, they're still going to go forward with it. So
They're
it
still
might
planning
just
on it?
be, yeah, I mean that's kind of what it seems like. I mean, I think that they have already sold tickets to the venue, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not 100% on that because I think it follows SmackDown. So I don't know if it's like in the same arena as SmackDown or what. But I know that that's like part of like the ticket package, you know?
Huh.
Yeah. So weird. Just a weird fucking thing. But
Yeah.
again, we are in weird times. Um, the WrestleMania card though is starting to take shape, and it's more or less what we're expecting, which I'm happy with. You know, outside of Lesnar and Omos, which we talked about last week, and
Oh.
I I'm gonna give it a chance. It could be good. It could be good.
It could be
Um,
good if Lesnar just goes out and wrecks Omos.
well,
Like,
and
okay, good.
I also read that this could be Lesnar's last Mania, or at least for a
Why?
while. Um, I mean, I
Why
gotta
burn it on
believe
Omos? Like, why though?
I gotta believe it's because he's gonna go over, which is a weird thing to do.
That Omos is going to go over?
No, that Lesnar's gonna go over. Like I think that Lesnar had a big say in who he was gonna face, and I think that he turned down a lot of. Because I like stories were out there that he was going to face Bray and that he turned that down. And then, like, you would think that he and Lashley would lock up to put like a definitive end to their feud.
Yeah.
And if Lashley was going to be like the guy to beat Lesnar, I don't know that Lesnar would, if Lesnar had that kind of creative control, to say no, I'm not doing that. Like if this is because he's basically at the end of his contract. Um, that's kind of what I've read, is that
Oh.
this is like the end of the contract, and again, never say never in wrestling.
Right.
But like he absolutely could come back. But again, Triple H may not prioritize Brock Lesnar. Um, I think it'd be foolish if he didn't, because I think that
Yes.
Brock Lesnar is absolutely a standout talent. But I feel like I'm in the same boat as you. Like if this is Lesnar's last Mania, or even last Mania for the next 2-3 years or whatever, I just don't understand
Yeah, like why Omos?
why Omos, right?
I
And
don't.
again, like I respect him having some say, but like if you're WWE, you got to push back and say, yeah, okay, but like we're paying you. Like this is a job. We respect that you may not want to work with Bray, but like it's gonna be Bray or Lashley.
I don't
And that's
understand why he wouldn't want to work with Bray. Like, I just don't like. Did Bray rub him the wrong way, or?
I just think that he doesn't think that they would clash well.
Well, I mean,
And
I
that's
think I think if Bray's going to have another one of those like weirdo bizarre matches and not like a wrestling match, I could see that, because
sure.
I don't think that Brock would do. I don't think that Brock would do like a cinematic Bray Wyatt style match comfortably.
No,
That's
absolutely
not his wheelhouse.
no. No, well, Brock Lesnar's wheelhouse is beating people up, and like in any Bray Wyatt match, I don't think that that's going to be like something that happens. Even in this Lashley match, I don't know that Lashley's going to have like a butt kicking. But yeah, I mean, I think that there were other answers other than Lesnar and Omos.
Yeah.
And if this is Lesnar's last Mania, my I'm sad because he absolutely is incredible and absolutely should be revered as one of the greatest. I mean, because this is going to be his 20th WrestleMania. You know, he
Wow.
yeah, man, he debuted at WrestleMania 19, and this is WrestleMania 39. So it's not his 20th WrestleMania, but like 20 years after he debuted.
Right.
He was gone for a big chunk in the middle there, but still like 20 years. Like that's a big number.
Jeez.
So yeah, reportedly he's coming towards the end of his deal. So that has me just a smidge worried that they're going to take the opportunity to have Omos beat him, which I think is just the worst
No, that
idea
is the
in the world.
absolute wrong decision.
Yeah, absolute worst decision.
Absolute. Like
But again, like
ugh.
if Les like, hey man, I'm not gonna lose to Bray, I'm not gonna lose to Bobby, and it's like, okay, will you lose to Omos? And he's like, yeah, fuck it, why not?
Why though? Like why? Of all the people to lose
Because
to, why Omos? Like why would he be more okay with losing to Omos than he would be losing to Bobby Lashley?
Brock's a weird creature, man.
Yeah.
And that is to say as well that he also understands business. Would Lashley beating him again at WrestleMania help him? Lashley, that is? Or would it just be another drubbing of Lesnar? Would Bray Wyatt beating Lesnar at WrestleMania help propel Bray Wyatt more so than what he is right now? Especially if it's in some weirdo fucking match? Probably not. However, if Omos beats Lesnar, like that kind of puts a rocket on his back a little bit. Now, like, who else could have had a rocket on their back? Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross beating Lesnar could have fucking solidified his career.
Yeah, that would have been much better.
Drew McIntyre beating Lesnar in an arena full of like 80,000 people.
Yep.
Again, great idea. So I mean, like they. If
Hell, I
this
would have
was a
loved to have
joint,
seen Gunther versus Lesnar.
right? Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So like this is, and I mean, who knows? Like they may renegotiate. He may be back fucking for SummerSlam. Who knows? But like, if this, and again, I'm treating it kind of like the swan song for Lesnar because you never know. If it is his last go around, I just think same as Corbin and Angle, man. Like it's the same vibes. Like
Yeah, like
why?
why? Why?
Right. And like remember, we were all sitting there waiting for the swerve where Corbin wasn't actually going to be Angle's final opponent, but nothing happened with it, and we were all kind of waiting for the swerve here, like, oh, Lesnar's not actually going to face Omos, and
Yeah.
I don't.
And again,
I
like
don't.
you look back on it too, what did that do for Corbin?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Yep. Guarded him a little bit of heat in the short run,
But
yeah,
like just who
yep.
cares? Like he's still in who caresville.
But like outside of that, I think that Mania is going to be exactly what we thought it was, and that's good news, man. Like the card looks solid. We're probably going to get Balor and Edge on there, likely in some big blow off. Hopefully, Hell in a Cell with the Demon and Brood Edge. We're going to get Ray versus Dominic, which is weird, but at the same time could be fun. I'm still shocked that they're pushing back on having, a battle royal. Like you're gonna have a ton of people without a WrestleMania match. Unless this Fatal 5-Way tomorrow night for the IC or for the shot at Gunther goes sideways and they end up making it a multi-man match, which again I hope they don't do. But unless it goes sideways, like you're likely gonna have guys like Karrion Kross on the sideline, Kofi and Xavier on the sideline, potentially Sheamus, guys like Butch and what's Pete Dunne's partner's name?
Here, Dan.
Hell. But like the Brawling Bruce on the sideline.
Yeah.
There's a lot of names, that just aren't gonna be in matches. So like that's why it's like, hey man, like why not have a battle royal where at least you can showcase some fun spots. Everybody gets a payday, and again, they may just be working the marks. They may end up doing that. I think after tomorrow night, really after Monday, I think the card's going to be pretty much solid at that point. We'll see if they're going to call any audibles and add like a big multi-person match or whatever. But like, I think that this is shaping up to be a pretty incredible WrestleMania, top to bottom.
Yeah, I can't see a lot of room for disappointment, really. This is a prime example, this instance here, of why I think the Money in the Bank ladder match should still have remained at WrestleMania.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Because the Money in the Bank doesn't need its own pay-per-view. What WrestleMania needs is a chance to showcase as much talent as possible and to get as much of these guys and gals a good payday as possible. And what better than to have like, oh, well, we don't have anything for you at WrestleMania. Why not have a Money in the Bank ladder match? You can get, how many people were in that? 8?
Yeah, more. I think that there were like 9 at one point.
So you get 8 to 9 male wrestlers in a Money in the Bank ladder match on one night. You get 8 to 9 female wrestlers in a Money in the Bank ladder match, on the other night. Damn, why would you not do that?
Sure. And my buddy at work like phrased it like this, like, have the male Money in the Bank open on night 1 and have one of the women's titles close on night 1, have the female Money in the Bank open night 2, and have the male WWE title on night 2. Like it just it writes itself. It literally writes itself.
Yeah, for so many years we got away without having Money in the Bank as its own pay-per-view. WWE was able to come up with a monthly pay-per-view year after year before they started doing Money in the Bank. It was perfect for Mania. It got people on the show, excuse me, that otherwise wouldn't have been on the show. I think it's a waste not to do it. I think it's a waste not to have Money in the Bank at Mania.
I'd agree. And like, again, like that's another thing where the winds of change seem to be shifting. Everybody was like, oh, are we going to see the Triple H regime go back to having Money in the Bank at WrestleMania? And like, that was a hot button issue for a while. But then it was announced that it would be at the O2 in London. And I gotta think that probably influenced the decision. Like having it be a big international show and having it be WWE's first big international pay-per-view. And I mean, obviously there was Clash at the Castle, which was a rousing success.
Yeah.
But like before that, like what? Fucking Insurrection? So like having it be at the O2 in London, I get it. So I wonder if maybe that wasn't a part of the decision as well. Where they're like, oh man, maybe we'll move Money in the Bank back to WrestleMania, and then London's like, oh hey, you guys want to bring Money in the Bank over here? And they're like, yes, please.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, man. Like I absolutely agree with you though. Like Money in the Bank is something that is suited for WrestleMania. And for what? About 9 years? No, not quite 9. About 7 to 8 years. Like it was one of the reasons that you look forward to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And they had success in replicating that with the Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania 31, the ladder match, which I think was incredible, that Bryan Danielson won. And then the Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania 32, which was really good as well, that Zack Ryder won. They replicated that, and they're like, oh, and I'm like, okay, maybe they're thinking, okay, maybe we'll get back to this, and then it just
Petered out.
fizzled out again. Yeah, man.
That's a bummer.
And I mean, man, ladder matches are great at WrestleMania. Regardless of whether it's for one title or a tag team title or, one-on-one, whatever, ladder matches are fantastic. And with Money in the Bank, we don't see traditional ladder matches in WWE much anymore, if at all. Whenever we had TLC, we were pretty much guaranteed at least one ladder match there. But outside of Money in the Bank now, we don't see a lot of ladder matches. So I think that it would be, a great time for a ladder match. But you have Theory versus Cena, for the United States title. You have the Usos defend against Sami and Kevin, and likely just a regular singles match, which is fine. You don't need any additional drama there. Honestly, I'm gonna drag my feet as hard as I can on this one. I don't think Gunther should defend his title in anything more than a triple threat match, and I only accept a triple threat match if it's Sheamus and Drew.
What is it currently now?
So tomorrow night on SmackDown, it is slated to be LA Knight versus Karrion Kross versus Xavier Woods versus Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. And the winner of that match goes on to face Gunther at WrestleMania. I'm worried that something shifted goes down and it just becomes a fucking ladder match or some sort of big fucking multi-man match at WrestleMania, which
big brouhaha.
Normally I'm good with. Normally I'm like, yeah, fucking A, let's do it. But for once, we have the Intercontinental title on a guy who can fucking carry it. And he's been carrying it. And he's had an amazing run with great fucking matches. I want to see that Intercontinental title be defended on the biggest stage of them all with some fucking reverence. So I want to see a singles match between Gunther or Drew. Or at the very most, Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew. I think a ladder match would be squandering. And I'm not saying that it would be a bad match. I think it would still be very entertaining. I just don't.
It wouldn't have as much shine on it.
Exactly. I think it would be a better optics if it was just Gunther versus Drew. Or Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew.
It's that same deal that I'm always, getting my undies bent out of shape about, when you throw a Royal Rumble winner in to a triple threat main event at Mania.
Right.
I'm always getting my, my undies in a twist about that. And I think it'll be the same thing with this. This should be, like you said, 1v1 or at most a triple threat, and only if it's going to be a triple threat with McIntyre, Sheamus, and Gunther. Anybody else wouldn't make a whole lot of sense and wouldn't hold up as well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Those three will pull on a banger of a match, but if it's not going to be those three, it doesn't need to be a triple threat. Yeah, right. It doesn't.
Right. And I feel like if it was anybody else but Gunther, if it was still, Ricochet that held the belt, for example,
Ricochet.
I'd be fine with doing a big, fucking 6-man, 7-8-man ladder match for the Intercontinental
title. That'd be
title.
fine. Ricochet's more suited for something like that. A Ricochet title match, having a big, dumb, goofy ladder spot, ladder type match, fine. Yeah, I agree with you. But since it's Gunther, it shouldn't be that. Don't make it a big multi-man match. That's going to disappoint me.
it should be a smaller exhibition. Either
Yes.
him versus one or him versus two people, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Poot.
And I can
We were
only
just
imagine, like,
talking about Gunther.
the banger that Gunther and Sheamus put on at Clash of the Castle.
Oh,
Like, you throw those two together with McIntyre, I think that has the makings of a perfect Intercontinental title match right there. And it doesn't need to be more than that. Those three can handle it. Let them do it.
oh, 100%. Like, I know I'm kind of walking in here at the midpoint, fellas, but like, this is something like, if I can digress to like what we talked about with AEW Revolution, what did we say about that event? That was I said that was a statement, but the other things that we talked about was like building, the younger talent. It was building new stars. It was doing this. The way that they're handling Gunther, yeah, maybe we want to see him at WrestleMania. We want to see those things. I would love that. But I love how they're building him. I love this. He came into WWE in NXT UK and then NXT and then the main roster and then he's come in and it has been a slow burn. They've treated him well, but like this slow build of like how big of a threat he is. The fact of how he's changed his look. He's like, I like how they're handling him. And I like these things. And I like the fact that like with wrestlers that a lot of people consider mid, right? Like Sheamus. Not taking anything away from Sheamus, but it's someone that they're like, that people don't really go like, oh yeah, Sheamus, what a dynamo in the ring.
No.
Like, seeing what him and like him and Gunther working together, or him and Drew, or anyone, like putting them with these guys and having these knockdown drag out matches makes everyone look good. And it constantly makes Gunther look like a star, even in loss.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I don't know, like we're talking about tomorrow night on SmackDown. There is, and I mean, by the time people hear this episode, you, the audience, will know what has happened. So, hopefully we all don't have egg on our face. But tomorrow night there is a match with Xavier versus Karrion Kross versus LA Knight versus Drew versus Sheamus. I think that's it. With the winner taking on Gunther WrestleMania.
Oh wow!
And the only reason Xavier's in there and it's not Kofi is because Kofi's legitimately injured. So I just keep coming back to it. Like, why not have a battle royal? Like, you got guys like the Viking Raiders who are going to be without a spot. Braun, Ricochet, potentially Karrion Kross, LA Knight, the New Day. Like, it's just crazy to me. And again, like, there is still about a month, a little less than a month, about 3 weeks until WrestleMania. So more things could absolutely come to light. And I mean, likely will. I think right now we are sitting at 7 matches. I think you can count 8, 9, 10 with the Gunther match with Edge and Balor and the Mysterio match. So, like, that's only 5 matches a night. It would shock me if we don't get another 4 matches added. I think 6 to 7 matches a night is probably where they want to end up.
Which,
especially if they're going from 8 to 12, and they may have a special start time, 7 to 12. So, like, especially if they have that little bit of extra time built in, yeah, let's get some more people some matches. But at this point, it's going to feel kind of tacked on,
right?
Yeah.
For
like
sure.
afterthoughtish.
Right, exactly. Like, well, like LA Knight and Karrion Kross didn't qualify for the for the Intercontinental title match, so they're gonna face off, and New Day's gonna take on the Viking Raider. It's just weird stuff. Not to say that it's bad, but like there's a lot of like ancillary stuff happening that I think may or may not lead into WrestleMania. Like there's a weird thing with Otis and the Maximum Male Models, and Baron Corbin's kind of top, stuck in there. So like there's definitely some like play for some more people on the card. But I just, again, I hate to fucking harp on it, but like I don't understand why they're so adamant about not having a battle royal. Like you can have a battle royal. Hell, you could have 2 battle royals, one for the men, one for the women each night, and get people paydays, get them on the show, get people involved, get people their spots, and have memorable WrestleMania moments for them.
So are they not even doing an Andre the Giant Battle Royal type deal?
Does not sound like it.
How long has it been since they've done that? Because it's been what, 2-3 years?
I think 3. I think the last winner was Jay Uso, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that when he started his thing, like main event Jay Uso?
Madcap Moss. Oh, there was one last year.
Oh God, Madcap Moss.
Madcap Moss beat Finn Balor.
That's fucking right. Oh my God.
And 2021, Jey Uso beat Shinsuke. Braun Strowman beat fucking Colin what's his nuts, and then there was the Matt Hardy year. Yeah, man. So yeah, I mean, again, like the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is a great place. You heard me. Okay. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is a great place to have some of these like weird feud things intersect. Like with Otis and the male models and Baron Corbin, like you'd have that all blow up there. Give the New Day their spot, things like that. We'll see. Again, like we still have 3 weeks to see what they're gonna put together, and I'll be shocked if we don't get more than. And then I forgot about Lashley versus Wyatt, so there's probably going to be at least 4 more matches added. But like outside of that, I'd be shocked if we don't get 3 or 4 more added on just to kind of balance out the card. But that said, again, first world problems. We're in a place where we can say, WrestleMania is great, but here's how it can be better. And I think that's, pretty great. Pretty great to be able to do that,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Speaking of pretty great, you guys want to do a Stump the Chumps?
Boo.
Boo.
Oh, yeah. That was an excited boo.
Damn, Ryuk's like fucking blowing up her inbox. He sent us 1, 2, 3, 4 questions, and I think we have one from Pat.
Let's do one for Ryuk and one from Pat.
All right, let's do the Ryuk one.
Double hitter.
Double
duty. It goes. Ryuk, what is the fastest match in WrestleMania history? He warned me that I'd be getting one in my wheelhouse.
Isn't that the Daniel Bryan? Did that happen at WrestleMania? Daniel Bryan and Sheamus?
Yes.
That always sticks in my mind. The poor screwing of Daniel Bryan.
Okay. That
Kane
same event.
Chavo was another one.
That same event. I'm sorry, Beef. Sorry. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Kane versus Chavo at WrestleMania 24, I believe, for the ECW title, didn't go real long either. But like, I think Bryan and Sheamus may have beaten that one.
Now, see, I don't know if it's the same event, but I mentally associate them the same. Wasn't Eric Rowan versus The Rock an actual match?
It sure was, and that's it. That's it. Poots
That's
got
the
it.
one.
I
forgot about that one.
associate those two fucking disappointment of matches so closely together. I don't know. I can't remember if they were a year apart.
No.
Was it the same event?
No. So Daniel
No.
Bryan versus Sheamus was WrestleMania 28 in Orlando. The Rock versus Eric Rowan was WrestleMania 32 in Dallas.
Okay.
But yes, you're absolutely right. It's The Rock versus Eric Rowan because The Rock literally came back to set a record, and then was like, "See ya, bye."
What a complete and utter stupid idea! Like, that's so fucking dumb.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
But you know what? Good
I'm-
for Eric Rowan though for A, getting a WrestleMania payday, and B, having a WrestleMania match with The Rock. Like, if you could take
Absolutely.
anything away from that, like, if you're gonna look on the bright side of anything, he can at least say those two things: I had a WrestleMania match, and I had a WrestleMania match against The Rock.
It's true.
Exactly, which is a small club, which includes John Cena and Steve Austin a bunch of times. So, and Hulk Hogan.
Once
So
in a
like,
lifetime,
you
twice
know,
in a
you could-
lifetime,
you-
3 times a lady.
you are mentioned in rarefied air with some of the greatest of all time in Austin, Cena, Hogan, and Eric Rowan. Ric Flair,
Aw.
Batista, and Orton as well. So yeah, I
Whoa.
mean, like, and who can forget the Sultan? But yeah, I'm all in on that. If you guys are with me,
Oh, that's definitely it.
absolutely. Ryuk says he appreciates everything we do, and of course we appreciate you. Let's see here. Interesting. Okay. Jerry Lawler rolled up Taz for the pinfall victory. Jericho and Lawler have the shortest match in history in 3 seconds.
Jericho?
Jericho and Lawler.
Fuck
Apparently they
you. When was
has-
that?
I have no idea.
Fact check it. I didn't even know that Jericho and Lawler ever had a match. That's fun.
What that I do not recall that from a modern Mania.
Yeah,
Oh, whew.
All right, let me see here.
There's no way. No way. Hold on.
I'll Poot's on it, ladies and gentlemen. Poot
Okay.
the Bard is on the internet.
Fuck. Hold on. All right.
Oh, he doesn't know how to use it very well.
WrestleMania. All right. So, Googling here, fastest match in WrestleMania history. All right.
Yeah,
It says Wyatt family member Eric Rowan was defeated by The Rock, setting a new record for shortest match on WrestleMania. That was at WrestleMania 32. Let's check Sportskeeda because Sportskeeda is usually pretty good. 5 was Rey Mysterio, John Bradshaw at WrestleMania 25. That was 20 seconds. The Hart Foundation versus the Bolsheviks at WrestleMania 6. That's 19 seconds. Then 3 was Sheamus Bryan, 18 seconds at 28. Then Kane versus Chavo Guerrero, WrestleMania 24,
Bravo.
11 seconds. And then
I have a
1,
history lesson.
The Rock versus Eric Rowan, WrestleMania 32, 6 seconds.
So he said it is Jericho and the King versus Taz and Midian.
That did not happen at a WrestleMania. That is the shortest match in WWE history, lasting 3 seconds. The 1, 2, 3. But that was not at a Mania.
Let me see here.
Listen, and Ryuk here, just to give you, we're not trying to weasel our way out of being chumps. We're just trying to be fair to everybody. We're trying to give you a fair shake here.
Yep, it looks like it was on like a Monday Night Raw. I'm actually watching the YouTube of it right now, and it's absolutely at a Monday Night Raw. So yeah, that
It was on September 4th, 2000. So
Yep.
that wasn't a Mania.
Yep. So, Ryuk, good try, but I think your wires were crossed there a little bit, my guy. So, unfortunately, hold on. There are other. Hold on.
Hold on.
He. Okay. So he, like I said, he kind of blew up the inbox there. Yeah. So he did correct himself. The Rock defeated Eric Rowan in an impromptu match. So yes, we are correct on that one. So, sorry, Ryuk, my man. I appreciate you taking a swing, and putting it right in my wheelhouse. And honestly, like, I forgot all about Eric Rowan and The Rock. My mind immediately went to Chavo and Kane, which would, by the way, was the third shortest match at WrestleMania. Ransom had the second shortest match at Mania, which is Danielson and Sheamus. And of course, we also named the shortest match at WrestleMania, which was The Rock and Eric Rowan. So, boys, we had it covered, top to bottom.
Never
Number 1, 2, and 3.
question me on random, stupid wrestling bullshit. Never do it.
You heard it from
Not
here.
you. That's
So-
for you, Ryuk.
Ryuk, my boy, you bought your best, but you, just like the Maniac, leave with nothing. Speaking of the Maniac leaving with nothing, let's go ahead and move right along to his. Love them segues. During
Damn it.
the Attitude/Ruthless Aggression era, who was the first IC champion to feature a belt with a nameplate on it?
Me?
That's not true.
Bullshit.
First,
No, wow.
Shamrock, maybe?
Listen,
I
make
don't-
an educated, think it through. Don't just start throwing out random ass names and get off Google.
I don't think
Peebus?
that the purple, like, Rock Oval Intercontinental title had a title plate on it.
Oh, my nose.
I could be wrong about that.
Didn't it?
It may have.
Well, what was the?
I don't.
What was the one? What during the Attitude Era? Wait, no.
Attitude/Ruthless Aggression era. So he's giving us a time frame. He's giving himself a handicap here, and letting us know when abouts it happened. But yeah, nameplates were not all of the rage until the early 2000s.
Yeah.
The old titles didn't have nameplates. The Big Blue Belt didn't. The Winged Eagle didn't. The old IC didn't. I don't think the Rock's IC did. And the old tag team didn't. I know that the Raw Tag Team Championships did because I'm looking at mine right here. And that came out in the same era as the Undisputed Belt, which again is the absolute best looking belt in history.
Agreed.
So I would wager a guess that's probably between. Oh, wait. Oh, the World Heavyweight title had a nameplate on it too. Big Gold Belt. I don't know if they utilized that like pre-unification or not.
I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but the Undisputed did, right? Like the Brock Lesnar belt?
Yes. Yep, absolutely did. So, like, I'm thinking it's probably in, like, the 2002, 2003 time frame. If I had to hazard a guess.
Oh, what did that one look like? Was that before
Yeah.
the Cody? Was that the Cody belt?
No.
Cody brought back the old Intercontinental title, right?
He brought back the classic white strap.
Right. But, like, he brought back the classic look, too. Up until then, it was that weird, like, oval one.
It was the
purple
Rock,
oval one. Yeah.
The Rock, yeah, oval one. Did that have a nameplate on it?
I don't think. When did Cody bring back that Intercontinental title?
I don't even know if that one had a nameplate on it. Like, I have no idea.
I don't think
I know.
it did.
So again, this time frame, and I apologize that my brain always goes to WrestleManias because that's just how I function, like in my WrestleMania history. But like, the undisputed title made its debut at WrestleMania 19. That for sure I know had a nameplate. I don't know that the Intercontinental title was defended at that show. Man, 19 is one of my favorites too, and I feel real bad that I'm locking up here. The next year though, WrestleMania 20, Orton had the belt. And it was definitely the Oval title. And John Cena had the US title, the flag title, that definitely had a nameplate on it. Did the Oval Intercontinental have? I mean, it stands to reason, right? Like if every other title in the company had a nameplate on it, surely the Intercontinental did as well, right?
You would think.
The oval belt or the classic belt?
The Oval.
The oval.
The classic.
Right, because the classic didn't come back until Cody won it.
Agreed.
And that was probably 05, 06.
Okay. Just so we can leave a trail of, fucking jelly beans back to our original point.
Probably
here.
Orton. It's probably Orton. If I had to hazard a guess and pin the tail on the donkey, I'd probably say Orton.
What I was gonna say is, let's assume that the Oval belt had a nameplate. Let's assume it did during that time.
It didn't start. So it didn't start with one. I think one may have been added.
Yeah, but that's why he's giving us the end of the Attitude into the Ruthless Aggression, because that's when Big Gold was becoming more popular, and it had a nameplate, so they probably went, well, we need uniformity.
Right.
So I like your guess of Orton, but let's just postulate and say, let's theorize it did. Who would be the one to name that? Orton is a hell of a guess.
The problem is I can't think of who had it before Orton or after Orton. I think so. I think after is a moot point because I think that Orton absolutely had it. Again, assuming it had a nameplate, which again, I can't imagine it not having a nameplate if every other belt in the company did.
Yeah.
So assuming that
who do you
it
win
had
it
a
from?
name, or that's what I'm saying. Assuming that he had a maybe RVD.
RVD or Benoit.
Maybe Benoit.
Or what's the other guy's name? Latino Heat.
Eddie.
Oh, Eddie.
I don't know, but those guys might have been main eventers at that. I don't know who.
Yeah, no. At WrestleMania 20, Orton had it. Benoit faced Triple H and Shawn Michaels and in the world title, and Eddie Guerrero faced Angle for the undisputed title. So I'm gonna guess that when they added the undisputed title is when they started with the nameplates. Because again, just for uniformity's sake, that's when they brought out the Raw titles and the SmackDown titles, and they both had nameplates. So I'm gonna hazard a guess and say between WrestleMania X8 and 19 is when they came about. And that's the thing is that the Intercontinental title was not prominently featured during that time on WrestleManias, so that's why it's kind of in a blind spot for me. And again, I know that it's not a WrestleMania question, but that's how my mind relates to it. That's how I kind of center myself. So the only name I can think of is Orton during that time frame. It's possible that RVD would have had it. Maybe Regal.
Yeah, but
Regal defended the belt against RVD at WrestleMania 19. That's suddenly coming back to me. So yeah, that, and I think RVD may have won it at WrestleMania 19. So that would have been pre-Orton for sure. RVD or Regal, one of the two of them.
all right.
And again, I don't know. Regal came into the match with the belt and he lost it to RVD, and that was at WrestleMania 17 or 19 rather. And that again was the debut of the undisputed title. And that I think is the time frame that we'd be looking at. Because at WrestleMania X8, it was Austin versus The Rock for the big blue title still. So yeah, I mean, it
I think
Pat, this is a good question. Pat,
yeah,
this
it's
is
a really good question.
One could argue that it doesn't have much to do with the history of wrestling, but we've schooled your ass enough times on things like that I understand needing to find a niche question like this.
It's creative, man.
It is.
It's super creative.
It is a very creative question.
I would say RVD is a really good guess.
But RVD won that title at WrestleMania.
I know
think that was his first title reign. So it would have stood because again, the undisputed title was around prior to this WrestleMania. It's not like they just rolled it out at WrestleMania 19. It happened. So Jericho and Triple H fought for the undisputed title in WrestleMania 18, but that's when it was still two belts. Triple H beat Jericho. Triple H lost to Hogan. Hogan lost to Undertaker. Undertaker lost to Rock. Rock lost to Lesnar at WrestleMania, or at SummerSlam. I think so. Triple H, I don't think held the undisputed title. I think he held the two titles together. I don't think they introduced the undisputed title until Hogan held it. Ransom, you've been very quiet. I don't know if you're muted or if you're just following our trail of breadcrumbs.
Following your trail and muted. BRB.
Okay. So like and fuck, when did Hogan beat Triple H?
Oh God.
It's weird that they went back and forth like that, but yeah, I remember Triple H beating Jericho, Hogan beating Triple H, Taker beating Hogan, Rock beating Taker, and then Lesnar beating The Rock at SummerSlam. And I don't think that Regal held it, from potentially May onward. So again, we're making a lot of assumptions here, but this is all we have to go off of. Assuming that they put the title, like the nameplates on there when they introduced the new set of titles. It probably would have been just after WrestleMania. Because that's when the undisputed title came around, probably like April or probably like May, June-ish. Did Lesnar hold the Intercontinental title?
No, because he
on his ascent to the top.
No, I think he went straight to
He won King of the Ring, and I know that for sure. And that's what got him the title match with The Rock at SummerSlam. I
Dude.
think Lesnar may have held the Intercontinental title during that, but I can't. I don't know who he would have lost it to.
That's a time. Again, this is a time in my life, in my wrestling life, that's kind of a void for me.
Yeah, no, this is definitely like Ransom and Beef Wheelhouse. That's why I'm
Yeah.
kind of like talking through it. I'm trying to think who Regal would have beat for it. It would have been a face, obviously. Wouldn't have been Jeff Hardy because he wasn't around. I think he was out on one of his many drug vacations.
Drug vacations.
I'm wondering if maybe I didn't actually just stumble onto it.
What, Jeff Hardy?
Yeah, because I know that Regal and Hardy had some matches, and I know that Jeff Hardy and RVD had some matches for the Intercontinental title. I know that RVD and Jericho had some matches for the Intercontinental title. Who had it at WrestleMania X8? Fuck. Man,
Was that Hardy?
No. This is why I need to get on my WrestleMania watches, because some of them definitely, absolutely kind of blend together. Was Regal champion at Am I maybe thinking of Regal versus RVD at WrestleMania X8? That may be the case. Yes, I am. Absolutely. Absolutely. Regal and RVD was WrestleMania X8. All right, so it may have been RVD. RVD may have been the first one with the nameplate.
RVD, man, whenever you said Orton, I was like, that's perfect. But man, that
he came along a little bit too late in the life cycle of that, I think. I think I'm trying to think if Orton had it pre-evolution or not. I don't think he did. He may have. Blue Chip or Randy Orton may have had the Intercontinental title. Pat.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
You're good.
I had an upset tummy break.
Uh-oh.
So,
But I was listening to everything you guys were saying.
if RVD and Regal was X8, what was the Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania X9 or 19?
So I was thinking about this while you guys were talking, and when it was the two-man power trip with Austin and Triple H, that was still the classic oval non-nameplate belt. But when Orton had it, it did have a name on it. It did have a nameplate.
Right.
But in between that, there was some juggling, some juggly jiggery juggles. And yeah, and in there was who was in there? RVD was in there.
Yep, he beat Regal at WrestleMania X8 for it. Hardy. I think Hardy beat RVD for it at one point. Jeff Harvey.
Oh. Stupid Mike Adamley. Get bent. Yeah. Those guys were in there. I'm missing one. RVD was in there. Jericho was in there.
Mm-hmm.
Christian was in there. Booker T was in there.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I'm thinking. When Triple H became the World Heavyweight champion, he didn't become the actual championship. He became the champion.
Right. Bischoff just handed him that title, right?
Right. But at that point, they did away with the Intercontinental Championship. So,
I don't remember that.
yeah. It was unified with the World Heavyweight title, or it was just like, I don't know. Something happened at that point, whenever that all came together. But yeah, like it went away for a little bit. Excuse me. And then it came back. And I'm thinking when it came back, that's when it probably still had the oval shape, but then had the nameplate on it.
Right. Which is right around the same, time frame that we're kind of talking about here, between WrestleMania 18 and 19. I think, right? That's when no, that would have been between 17 and 18. Because that's when Austin beat The Rock at WrestleMania X7. And then Triple H beat Jericho for WrestleMania at WrestleMania X8 for the belts.
So here's my 2 cents, and this is my thought going off that line of things. I believe, if I'm thinking of this correctly, when the Intercontinental title was brought back, I believe Christian won it, and that was his first time ever winning the Intercontinental title. And if that's the case, that would lead me to believe that since that title came back, like since they reintroduced the title, and that would have been after the big gold belt was there, which had the nameplate on it, they probably would have brought the Intercontinental title back with a nameplate on it. And since Christian was the first one to win it when it came back, because I remember that was kind of like a big deal for Christian, like first Intercontinental title reign, like stepping out of my brother's shadow, like at last you're on your own. So I'm thinking it's probably, in my mind, all roads to me point to Christian. Could be wrong, but if my line of thinking is thinking up, he was before Orton.
Yes.
But he was after the 2-man power trip of Triple H, which was the classic. It just said champion at the bottom. It didn't have a nameplate.
Right. Absolutely. You're 100% right on that.
That's kind of where I stand on the biscuits.
I just don't remember.
Gross.
So like here's my only hang up. They brought back the world title on Raw after they had already introduced the Undisputed title, because Lesnar signed an exclusivity contract with SmackDown.
Correct.
That was so. I don't remember the Intercontinental title going away. I remember Triple H holding it. Didn't Jeff Hardy beat Triple H for it, though? Like, I'm pretty sure that happened, and that was like a big thing with Jeff Hardy. That Jeff Hardy beat Triple H for the Intercontinental title.
Triple H beating, or Jeff Hardy beating Triple H.
Yes, and it was on like a SmackDown or some shit. And I know it sounds crazy, but like and Triple H may have won it back shortly thereafter.
That might have been before the 2-man power trip.
I think it was during the 2-man power trip, if I'm thinking the right era. So Triple H may have won it back. I think
that was before the whole like.
it's weird that it went away.
Oh, gross.
So my point here is that, like, I think if it was unified with the world title, and that's when it quote unquote kind of went away for a while, when Eazy-E introduced the world title, then because the undisputed title had already been around for at least a few months at that point. So and then that had a nameplate on it. So that
Yeah.
may have been. So if that's the case, and Triple H was still the Intercontinental. So you're saying that Triple H was still the Intercontinental Champion whenever Eric Bischoff gave him the world title, correct? Is that what you're?
I don't. I don't. I don't know. He wasn't.
Okay. Because I was
Was
gonna
he?
say that.
No.
Because I mean, given
Like,
that,
I don't think like he was the Intercontinental Champion, and
because given that time frame, because I didn't realize. So the 2-man power trip happened before the unifying of the WCW and the world and the WWE titles, right?
yeah, because Triple H got hurt during the 2-man power trip,
Right.
and that's why Triple H wasn't around for the Invasion storyline.
Right. Okay.
Triple H came back after Invasion happened because he was hurt
And
during Invasion.
they didn't bring back. So, like, when they unified the titles, like, I'm not saying that there weren't plates on them, but I can't remember there ever being a plate on the blue world belt. And then, like I said, Jericho unified them, obviously, lost them to Triple H, and then Triple H lost to Hogan. Hogan was the first holder of, like, the undisputed title as we remember it.
Yeah.
And that one absolutely had a nameplate on it. So,
But all this happened after, like what I'm saying happened after the unification and everything.
you're saying that the Intercontinental title was, like, reintroduced after the
I'm saying the Intercontinental title being deactivated happened after the World Heavyweight title was reintroduced.
So, like, they brought the world title in with Booker T, right? And then
That was
Rock...
the WCW title.
True. Okay. I got you. So that and that, yeah, that's the thing, is that I think
I can't remember how it happened, but I remember the Intercontinental title going away, and it had something to do with like Triple H wasn't the Intercontinental title when Eric Bischoff handed him the World Heavyweight Championship. He was nothing. Somehow it went away. I don't know if they just said, all right, like we're phasing it out, or if there was like a unification match with Triple H and the Intercontinental Champion, whoever that was at the time.
there was a
Tying that
unification
together.
of the Hardcore and the Intercontinental title. I remember that. I don't know, man. Like, this is a very fuzzy time frame. If your gut is telling you, Christian, I have learned to trust your gut. I'm just worried that,
I mean,
like,
that's my thought. I don't know.
I'm just worried that like took place too far after the introduction of the undisputed title, which is when I think that they probably would have put nameplates on everything. Because the undisputed title would have come about, like I said, probably May, June of
22 of 2002.
2002, right?
May or June.
So and like I said, at WrestleMania X8, which was where Triple H beat Jericho for the undisputed title before it was the undisputed title. RVD beat Regal. Now it's possible that they would have put that on there. It's possible they snuck it on before the undisputed title, and maybe Regal was the first. Maybe the first was RVD. And then, like I said, I know that RVD traded with Jericho. I know RVD traded with Jeff Hardy a couple times. No, Jeff Hardy was, I think, the hardcore champion and faced RVD in the unification match. Which is a weird fact, I know. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, this is tough. We have been going on it for a minute though. All right. So Ransom has a gut feeling of Christian. Do you recall about when Christian would have won that?
Oh. Oh, gross. I don't know, maybe early 2003.
Okay. Because, yeah, if it did go away and was reintroduced with Christian, you're absolutely right. That would be a great time to do it. I don't recall ever seeing that title with RVD and it having a nameplate on it. I kind of do with Regal, though, which is weird because I know the Regal was champion before RVD. But I'm thinking that might. Oh, he was also champion in like the mid-aughts too. Never mind. That's what I'm thinking of.
Was
when
he?
When he like feuded with Punk, when he was like King of the Ring there.
I forgot he was.
Yep.
Was he Intercontinental champion when he was King of the Ring as well?
Along that time frame, because I think
Okay.
he beat Punk in King of the Ring, and I think he beat Punk for the title at some point, because they had like a little feud happening.
Oh, interesting.
So that's why I'm thinking of the title with the nameplate with him. I don't recall Jericho ever having a nameplate on that Intercontinental title. I can't really picture Christian with the title at all. But you know what? I'm just gonna double down. I'm gonna say that if your mind is serving you correctly, and it was reintroduced and Christian won it the first time, that and that was early 2003, that probably stands to reason that he would be the first one with a nameplate on it. And just given everything I'm remembering, I'm fine with that. Poot?
I'm leaving this up to you two because I will go with consensus because this is the time that was outside my wheelhouse.
Okay.
Consumption.
Yeah. All right. We're going Christian then. Pat says, learn my lesson last time. Don't ask WrestleMania questions ever. First to have the nameplate was Christian in 2003.
Wow, guys.
Boom.
That was a long way to get there. That was fucking awesome.
I don't know how Ransom gets to the places that he does. And I'd like to think that us having the breadcrumbs to get him there helps.
Oh no, it absolutely. I think it's all part of it, man. It's all part of the like method.
Pat, man, that was so good. That was a really intricate question. Don't do it again, but that was good.
Don't do it again.
That being said,
oh my gosh.
You threw a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, and, well, we're still waiting for it to land. So once again, Pat, You lose, sir. And both you and Ryuk, you both get nothing. No, Pooh, take us home.
Yeah, dude. All right. Thank you very much for listening to the P3 podcast. We want to thank our lovely selves for being so smart and good and funny and talented and all those awesome things. But we also want to thank our sponsors too. They're just as good as those things as well. They just all those adjectives also describe them. We want to go ahead and thank Mr. Casual Gaming Dad himself, our very own Tiger Bomb Tom, and his page Casual Gaming Dad over on Facebook. Okay.
Facebook.
Face
Book face.
Face Smash.
Smash Bros.
I'm
Something
the Smash Bros. Anyway, you mean the Banger Bros?
Something different.
Yeah,
Something different.
something wholly different. I want to thank Casual. Seriously though, Tiger Bomb Tom and his page Casual Gaming Dad on Facebook. Join Casual Gaming Dad's Corner. Tom is actually streaming during the time of this recording. He's off streaming right now in the glorious ether. You can find him on Facebook, like we said, over on YouTube at Casual Gaming Dad. Just search on that, and then also Casual Gaming Dad 84 over on Twitch. Okay. And make sure you go over to Gold Gaming, get yourself your very own P3 podcast t-shirt, and one of each item of all the awesome Casual Gaming Dad merch that's over there would really help him out. Merch time! We also want to thank Frigoff Ransom, our very own boy, Frigoff Ransom, over on YouTube. Go subscribe to him because he's hilarious. He's the funniest boy, and you should check him out. We also want to thank Mr. Sean Tischler and his work with independent wrestling in the greater Pennsylvania Commonwealth. So we really appreciate seeing that. And we need to get out and see an indie show here at some time in the near future. We also want to go ahead and thank Beef for all of his awesome videos that he's been putting up lately on the YouTubes, and also for kind of diving into the history of it. Like, I know I always call him the Wrestling Encyclopedia, but he really knows a lot about his stuff. He knows his shit, man. It's really fun and entertaining. You can learn a lot about wrestling from him. So go watch those over on the P3 Podcast YouTube channel. Give us a subscribe. I also want to thank me. That's Poot the Bard, and my thing over on Twitch, Poot the Bard. Just search on Poot the Bard. Occasionally I do a stream. Usually it's some kind of manic random game, and I like it that way. All right. And also, you know what, for Ryuk and the Maniac, we really appreciate those questions. Keep them coming. And if you want to submit your own Stump the Chumps question, Beef, how do they do that?
They can email us at pittsburghpiledriverpodcast at gmail.com. 2 emails, one with the question, one with the answer. In the answer email, make sure you include a few sentences and page breaks, line breaks, to make sure that I don't see the answer in the preview window. Otherwise, you will be disqualified. It's that easy.
And you don't want to be disqualified. All right. For myself, the Barbarian, Poot the Bard, baby. For Frigoff Ransom himself, Ransom the Madman. For the currently unavailable at the moment, Tiger Bomb Tom. And, of course, Harold, you want to go ahead and do this one?
Oh, I think we all know by now that it's pointless to resist the greatness that is our Cruiserweight champion. And no matter how much you may think, hey, I'm so far ahead. Hey, he's so far behind. I might really have a chance this time. If you're going to be honest with yourself, you have to say this. No way. Not going to happen. Ain't going to happen. Sit down, shut up, bow your head, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and when you get up in the morning and look up into the sky and see nothing but red death, you'll know your incoming doom is brought to you by the man who continues to hold the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast Cruiserweight Championship time after time after time because his knowledge knows no boundaries. That is our Galactic Overlord, our Cruiserweight Champion. He is my Beef the Legend. He's your Beef the Legend. He's our Beef the Legend. Thanks, everybody. Bye.